So anyway, all right. The music not playing. Damn. Oops. What's up, everybody? Yeah, I had to restart that stream, bro. More technical difficult, not technical difficult. Actually, it was just me. My eyes forgot to hit the record. I was streaming, but I wasn't recording, and I need this stuff to record so I can edit it later and all that good stuff. So there's more or less gonna be a take two. So if anybody, but if any, I had to delete that last one, so just kind of bear with me. But let me just go ahead and go through the start of this. Let me just go through the preliminary stuff real quick. Chicago Black Delegation Podcast is a show dedicated to the receiving and reclaiming of black culture in America. The intention of this podcast is to improve the conditions of blacks in America by way of platforming different ideas. At no point will the views shared on this podcast be the show's title, conversation headers, and individuals' expressed ideas, or otherwise should be interpreted as an attack on other groups, but rather as a means to a greater end for blacks in America. Views shared by individuals do not represent the views shared by Chicago Black Delegation, its staff, or other guests unless specified. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Corner Show. I'm, again, hired thinking of the Chicago Black Delegation Podcast. And on this show, I will be more or less going through some content that I ran across on the internet and other friends have thrown my direction. And in hopes of having, like, productive conversations that can lead to better solutions, a better, just going in a better direction for Black Americans. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, the things I say can pertain to most other individuals as well, especially since a lot of us are in the lower class or in economics here in America. That's the way capitalism pretty much set up. But I would say that black people have went through black people are a very peculiar people in this nation. And we went through a very specific set of circumstances that other nationality groups or ethnicities did not go through. So that's why I made this podcast. But otherwise, again, for everybody that missed my first my first take, things have been going relatively well. Y'all kind of noticed I have been uploading videos and stuff like that again. I have a couple more videos on the way this week. So that's a lot of fun. But otherwise, things have been going relatively okay. Have made a lot of progress with therapy. Whole lot of progress with therapy actually, and I couldn't recommend something like that more for individuals that not only are like going through things within of themselves, but it's also like something healthy that they can I would say discover about the people that surround them. Some of the first things you can learn outside of like about yourself, especially I would argue to say it would be the first steps and discovering just like self discovering. You know what I mean? Because like people oftentimes think about concepts and like problems and situations based on their own perspective and their own perspective alone. Whereas when you start to take a step back and then like look at things like from other people's perspectives, you'll start to realize other people just may not be as crazy as you once perceived it to be. Let me throw together an example real quick. So the person on the left sees a six, the person on the right sees a nine, right? Um, Here's the stitch. They're in an argument. They're in an argument that one person says, no, this is the number six. The other person says, no, this is the number nine. Whereas if these people were to stop and then take a step back, or at least one of them, stop and take a step back and think outside themselves and think of the logic, think of what's on the other person's mind. They like, you know what? If I was standing on the other side of this person, of the other side of this number, where this person would be, I would see a 9 as well, right? And then that's how we, as an example, right, start to become more familiarized with other people's perspectives, and then that we can finally start to essentially respect these others' opinions on matters, but not just opinions, but also facts based on like where we are standing on either side of this number. So when we start doing that, that's how we find intersection, right? We this within the whole like cloud of ideas and perspectives and worldviews, there's oftentimes places where we intersect on ideas. I would call this like a clash, right? In which that essentially means is we will either disagree or agree on a matter where there will be intersectionality, right? And there can be some compromise that can be made in certain situations. However, some things we are just always going to see this number as a number 6 or the number as the number 9. I know it's a lot kind of might not make a lot of sense, but all I'm essentially saying is that it could be situations where you're just gonna be diametrically opposed to one another, where you just won't be able to agree on each other because both of your logic is just. I'm sorry, both of your goals are just not in alignment. Like, for example, maybe you're fighting over the last apple. You know what I'm saying? And both of you believe that you deserve that last apple on that tree. And you're gonna have to decide what you're gonna do. You're either gonna compromise by splitting the apple in half, or one of you gonna take that apple for yourselves. You know, and that's just the logical side of the things. When it comes to things such as like opinions and things like people that base their decisions off of emotions, that are driven off their own emotions, that's going to require a whole nother like skill set, which is called empathy. You know what I mean? Where you're gonna have to take into account the emotions of somebody, and deliver a message, deliver your perspective, your point of view, while respecting their emotions. You know what I mean? You're stepping outside of yourself and imagining what's going to feel like to receive the information that you're delivering to the other person, while rooting yourself, while understanding all of those persons like emotion. What's the word? Sensitivities and such. You know what I mean? Like all of this stuff is important. All of this stuff is important in delivering a persuasive argument, so that you can actually find an ally in somebody that sees a 6 instead of a 9. You know what I mean? So like I said, it's like all of these things and more. It's like some of the things I've learned throughout my journey and emotional intelligence, and through not just like speaking some with my therapist, but just simply listening to different podcasts, listening to conversations of people that are more intelligent than I am, and just pretty much soaking it all in. You know what I mean? And I even want to get into a little bit of behavior. Behavior, what do you call that? Behavior traits and stuff like that. I want to get into that as well sometime down the line. I think that'll help me get. I think that'll be like another the next step for me. But like the thing, the big conversation me and my therapist have been having lately is about self. It's about, what's the word? Oh, I'm sorry. I must be getting tired. But yeah, it's been about self-discovery and like our purpose in life. You know what I mean? My purpose in life. And she really challenged me to really try to figure that out. And I think I'm onto something, and I'm gonna just try it out and try my best at it. But one thing I will say is like deciding on a deciding on a path, essentially deciding on um, a calling, a purpose, essentially is created like a North Star within me. It gives me like a reason to do things. You know, it gives me inspiration. It draws. I can draw inspiration because I have a. Again, it's essentially my guiding light. And with and when that and that now that I know what it is, I'm gonna it helps me get out of bed in the morning time and like attack life in a different angle, in this new angle. So I think people should just like really try to do their best at thinking about their purpose and stuff like that. But I would argue that they should go ahead and do their best at understanding not just themselves but other people's perceptions, other people's perspectives, and then learning and also mastering empathy. Like I think those things need to come first before you start your journey of self actuation and figuring out your purpose and stuff like that. That's what I would argue. Maybe I could be wrong about that, but without further ado, I kind of talked the ear off already about all of this stuff. I want to kind of get through like some of the. Well, I guess I should tell you how the show kind of goes in normally. On the Chicago Black Delegation podcast, whether it's the corner show or delegation discussions, each show is normally breaking up into three different segments. One segment is normally just like one or maybe two videos that we having like that we'll use to have like a core conversation or entire conversation. I will be reading all of the chats, but I'll only be reading the chats before and after each segment. When I will intro and outro each segment individually. When I outro a segment, please don't be confused to think that I am ending the stream. After I end the third segment, I will then be moving towards outroing the entire show. So and I would I will make that and I will verbalize that. So just please don't bear with me because I know this is kind of like different for a lot of people, but this is kind of how I do things because this is pretty much how I go about conducting the show because I normally chop this stuff up and then use it as content later. You feel me? I think I got a couple messages. Give me a second. I think I got a couple messages. Okay, never mind. So anyway, all right. So without further ado, we're gonna get into our first segment. Is about Myron and his nonsense. So, all right. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Chicago Black Delegation podcast. I'm your host, HT, aka High Thinking. And this is the corner show where I kind of, what content comes my direction. I'll pretty much have a bit of a conversation with you guys about it. So if there's anything that has caught your interest that you want to see me talk a little bit about, send them my way at Chicago Black Delegation Podcast at gmail.com. You can find us on IG. I can respond well there as well. But without further, right now we got a conversation regarding Myron Gaines and his continued degradation or devaluing of Black Americans. And I don't know what it is about this dude. I don't know why people still listen to him. I don't know what credibility he has left. But I mean, I don't know. I guess with Donald Trump in office, what else should I be expecting out of Americans? You know what I mean? Like people just simply don't see things the same way, evidently. I'll be over here, I can see a 9, and the other person on the other side, he'll see a 6. I guess sometimes that's what the situation that's how things that's how the cookie crumbles, I guess at times. But this dude has built quite of an audience. Like people really do believe in this messaging and really do believe in the things that he's saying, all this stuff. And I ain't gonna lie to you. I saw this video a while ago and it was deplorable. Like the logic is flawed. Look, let's just get into the video and we can discuss as we go along. So, peep game.
What do you say about the chat saying that you can't pull a black woman?
I would say, why would I? Why would I? You can have them, bro.
Why wouldn't you?
They could have them, man. I'm not competing for.
Okay. I gotta pause this nonsense already, bro. I gotta pause this already. Like, why would I? He said, like Myron clearly does not know the value Black American women have brought to the Black community. Like a simple Google search can clear this up. Like even ChatGPT can tell you like some basic things that Black women have brought to not just the Black community but American society as a whole. Like, bro, like the IQ, the resources, let's talk about the physicality for a second here. Like, y'all do know about, y'all heard the phrase black don't crack, right? Like I know y'all know where that came from. Y'all seen Angela Bassett. Y'all seen like the myriad of Black women that simply just don't age like other women do. And I'm not gonna try to throw any other women under the bus, but I'm just saying Black women have the aging thing down packed naturally. You know what I'm saying? And then we ain't even got to talk about like the curvation, the usual curvasiveness of the backside. You know what I'm saying? Like it used to be frowned upon to have like a butt back in the day, and now it's like the wave. It's been a wave for the past like 30, like since the 90s, 80s. I would imagine, but like people simply just want to pretend like this, like Black women's beauty is not to be counted. And yeah, okay, especially when when Black women are as copied as often as they are. But that aside, we can talk about their IQ, their high degree acquisition rate. And I know a lot of people try to say, oh, well, they try to find different ways to devalue Black women's, the degrees that they attain. But like on average, like we all have to like face facts there. On average, people, right, with degrees typically make more money than those with only a high school diploma. Okay. And with those diplomas, I mean, with those like degrees, this brings a very diverse and useful skill set that they can bring into the folk. They can bring into like their communities and stuff like that. Like we got to be real about like stuff like that. And with those degrees come the resources. Like Black people, we gotta first like bring into realization we have to first acknowledge the fact that Black people were robbed of our potential in the past. So resources are limited, but when a Black woman loves you, she will share. And it just so happens that they have shared the most with Black men since we are their preference. And I don't know why Black men seem to have like forgotten that. I mean, I guess, Myron Gaines, like he don't really count as like Black American or free man like that. But like when Black men listen to somebody like this, I don't know how they seem to forget that of all the women in like this country, Black women have provided the most for the Black community, not just with their tangibles, but with their blood, sweat, and tears, bro. Like let's be real about it. Anyway, let's get back to the video.
For LaQuisha, you guys can have her, man.
Well, every Black woman ain't LaQuisha. What you mean?
Look, I say that's look, I'm fucking around, but the when they say dumb shit like that, or you can't pull a Black woman, like that's just like cope a lot of the times.
Okay, so I want y'all to understand, like when people say something like a lot of the times, this is an escape tactic in speech used to cover your ass when you're delivering a hot take. Okay, like when proven wrong, because like when proven wrong, he can escape by saying, "Oh, not all, just a lot." Like I didn't say everybody. I just said some, like things like that. What you have to do to combat those types of like those type of strategies and shit like that, you're gonna have to just simply push back. You have to say, okay, where'd you get this from? Where'd you get this information from? Is this just anecdotal? Is this empirical? Is there any empirical evidence you can reference that I can check out or read for myself or anything to that matter? Like, you have to convince me that this is legitimate information outside of you just telling me so. Because if you're just going to tell me so, it's like I can just as easily say the opposite based on my perspective. So it's like anecdotal evidence is very, very, I would say, almost useless in these types of conversations. And when you're using your anecdotal evidence when you're using flimsy evidence such as anecdotal evidence and no empirical evidence to cast shade on a whole group of people, bro, that kind of will speak to, I mean, people have a relatively good argument for you being, okay, I'm using nice terms, an asshole. So,
Because they're saying, what that really, let me decode the stupidity for you. When people say dumb shit like that, translation, you're not willing to tolerate the bad behavior that naturally comes with a lot of black women. Because let's be honest, let's deal with the stereotypes here, right? I'm
stereotypes, bro. This dude be killing me, man. Like stereotypes, bro. Like how old is this dude? Stereotypes, bro. Okay, like look, judging to date and ethnicity based on perceived stereotypes, let me know how severe his internalized hatred is. Like black Americans rooted in our blackness are wise enough to reject stereotypes and address everyone individually. Like we may elect to ask questions based on nurture and tread carefully but respectfully until familiarity is established. Like, I don't know, man. That's that. This is why they be calling you. This is why they be calling you guys tethers, man. Like, you gotta. This is why they be calling you guys tethers, Myron Gaines.
an open racist towards everybody. Let's deal with the
Open and racist towards
black stereotypes. Black women are fat, loud, crass, annoying, have attitudes, and they don't respect male authority. There's a bunch of reasons for this, but I'll go over simply.
I don't even want to go this simply. Let me talk about this first. About these stereotypes, apparently, bro. Okay. I have to use one of them. Hold on. I forgot my stamps now.
The average black woman weighs 187 pounds. A lot of them are grow up in a single mother household where they're told every single day, niggas ain't shit. There is no patriarch in the family a lot of the times. This is just what goes on. Then when you listen to the rap music.
All right, I gotta stop right now, man. Check this out, man. Regarding these stereotypes, okay, the weight thing, and I know everybody likes to judge black women based on their weight, but it's like people are like choosing to ignore the nuances here. They're choosing, they refuse to acknowledge like intricate details that bring a lot of, like, I would say, just understanding, a lot of understanding to the situation that we have to we should be mentioning, like, okay, it's like this. When people bring up black women's like weight and stuff like that, there is an asterisk next to that needs to be implemented there. Like, and let me explain. Like, first of all, people need to understand that black women carry their weight different. Okay, like a black woman wearing a certain weight, weighing a certain weight is different than other nationalities of women carrying that same weight. Okay, like, and the reason that's important is because, like, black women will carry that weight in. I mean, this reminds you. This is like, if we're talking like, generalities and stereotypes and all this other stuff. Like, the weight would, like, typically go somewhere where it would still be within the binds of attractiveness. Okay, Whereas with other nationality women, like it's just like the weight just don't isn't displaced in the same way. You know what I'm saying? So like I don't know why Myron Gaines seemed to not want to like add that nuance into his judgment. But I mean, it's pretty obvious that he's just this is a hit. He is purposely trying to craft a hit piece against black women, which is like beyond annoying. But aside from that, like the black community also suffers through something called food deserts. And I'm not gonna explain to you what a food desert is, but it's like and like please like understand, like go through your own like deep rooted research about what a food desert is and stuff like that is very important. But like long story short, it's just the accessibility to healthy foods, healthy viable foods. And that's just something that a lot of black communities or mostly impoverished communities don't have like really like good access to. Is like again like viable food, viable healthy organic foods. And another thing that kind of is attributed to the black community's like health situation is the wealth, and because like the wealth is like the catalyst that stems into other concerns, like time available to like work out. You know what I mean? If women are working, need to work 2 jobs to maintain the rent, to maintain their kids, and all these other things, like how like a lot of these women just don't have the time to be working out, because working out requires like the energy, the mental clarity, the mental health, and all that stuff to be able to dedicate so much time to something so productive. You know, it just is what it is. But like the money, and then money to purchase healthy food and gym equipment, you know what I mean? Like that stuff, it stems from their wealth or access to money. So I don't know. And what people really need to get is like everyone has their own like journey with health. Now, obviously not just black people, but like, so you would need to ask these people all individually about like what their struggles are. Like, is it a DNA situation, like a gene situation? Is it a situation where they some kind of mental health regarding them overeating? Like it's a myriad of things that can be that people can kind of be suffering from, that leads to them having a high high in weight and stuff like that. So I don't know. There's so much things that we gotta like consider before we kind of judge like women or people in general as far as like their weight situations. But anyway, but regarding this idea of like black women being loud and crass and annoying, stuff like bro, like not this stuff is just not worth addressing. Like black women are on this show often and are on average as mild mannered as the rest of the national ethnicities of women. And like I don't know why he pretends pretends otherwise. Like, but aside from that, like most of the time, like people judge black women by the viral clips they see on the internet, and not by like thorough, nuanced personal experiences. You know, but and the thing is, like Myron has that. Myron has the interactions with like black women like every week, it seems like. But I don't know. It's like he seems to want to like choose to forget like all of the positive black women that stepped on the show and were dope and were cool and even agree with them. You know what I'm saying? Just to like denigrate them, just to like prove this point he's trying to make, which I'm like really picking it apart piece by piece. And then he made this other criticism towards like the male authority or the patriarchal like structures within the black communities and stuff like that. Like, bro, like, look, man, what this dude need to understand first and foremost is like regarding male authority. Like, newsflash, if you're red pilled and individualistic, your guidance and leadership isn't worth much. Like it just isn't. Like you're leading people into a burning building, my nigga. Like grow the fuck up. I don't know. Let's keep going, man.
What are they saying? Fuck niggas, get money, blah, blah, blah. It's just shitting on black men all day. And then the black men that are in their life a lot of the times, not every single time, but a lot of the times, they're criminals, they're fathers that weren't there, they're crooks, and it's just like a never-ending cycle where there's no real patriarch in the household.
Okay. So now he's talking about his lack of, he's going, he wants to talk about his lack of patriarchal leadership. Okay, so, like, first of all, there is plenty of well-adjusted men in the black community, in the black households. But one thing we need to understand is, like, any lack thereof can be linked to a myriad of governmental systems that intentionally and unintentionally stunted our education, population, and resources. So let's get that. Let's get that out the way first.
And then on top of that, you know, we since women, a lot of black women grow up without men in the house, they end up becoming extremely masculine. Now, this is fantastic when it comes to survival, getting a job, making your way through life. But this is terrible when it comes to attracting masculine men. Masculine men don't want masculine women in return.
Okay. So not masculinity. Masculine men don't want to. This dude is so frustrating, bro. Like I don't know how people just sit through like this dude's content, man. Like it's like people are just these teenage boys, these 21-year-olds is just they don't understand the game yet, and then this dude just he beat the system, he beat the algorithm. And he's just like the first person is in everybody's face when there's so much more nuance to like the game and real red pill and real like that relationship dynamics than what he's trying than his bastardized understanding of it is. So let's talk about masculinity for a second. Like the idea of masculinity is a very outdated and flawed in concept. Like that's like at least the popular idea of masculinity. It's American modern day. It's American modern day understanding is predicated from what people think they saw their parents and grandparents did. Like, and this is a mistake. Like, check this out. Like, gender roles for that time period were heavily influenced by the living conditions of each respective time period and region. This means that gender roles are not static. Kevin Samuels later popularized the phrase "high value male" and gave it a prerequisite, which is still can be found on YouTube. You can just search it. But while I'm not tripping over Kevin Samuels creating his own parameters to what makes a man high value, the problem is created when viewers that weren't high value expecting perfection from women they were themselves. While I'm not tripping over Kevin Samuels creating his own parameters to what makes men high value, the problem is created when viewers that weren't high value expecting perfection from women when they themselves are not high value and certainly not perfect. So no, the already treacherous dating market now has an influx of men with an inflated sense of self-worth and are not willing to compromise and negotiate. Red pill's concept of masculinity needs to be done away with. With that said, check this out. Masculinity should be redefined as the ability of a male to demonstrate self-sufficiency. So let me show you something real quick. So check it out. Right here we have a child. Number 5 being a man, 6 being manly, and this is around your like your average range here, right? And then 7 being very manly, and then 10 being perfect. Good luck being that shit, all right? And again, with this being essentially a scale of like masculinity from 0 to 10, this let's go further in details about this. Like, again, with masculinity being defined as the ability for a male to demonstrate self-sufficiency, like the score from 0 to 10 is determined by a man's ability to access the 3 pillars of leverage: physical resources, physicality, resource, and IQ, like more out in another video, and an agreed upon manly methods of attainment. Otherwise, I suggest dumping the title masculine entirely, since we as a society will need to agree on such terms. This will not negatively affect the dating market, since it will pressure everyone to put real effort in finding someone that complements our positive and negative qualities, with our, as a couple, goals being our North Star or guiding light. All this to say, Myron has a flawed understanding of masculinity and should not be taken serious when he's speaking on it. But regardless, though, I guess that's the next part. Let's get into the next part.
That would make you probably more than likely gay if you're attracted to yourself, right? And I always.
So,
gay if you're attracted to yourself. You probably more than likely gay if you're attracted in return. That would make you probably in return. Getting a job, making your way through life. But this is terrible when it comes to attracting masculine men. Now, this is fantastic when it comes to survival. Black women grow up without men in the house, then they're becoming extremely masculine. Now, this is fantastic when since women, a lot of black women grow up without men. And on top of that, you know, since women, a lot of real patriarch in the household. And then on top of that, you know, since women, a lot of black women grow up without men in the house. It's just like a never-ending cycle where there's no real patriarch in there. They're crooks, and it's just like a no-nos. They're fathers that weren't there. They're every single time, but a lot of the time are in their life. A lot of the times, not every single time, but a lot of the times they're criminals. They're fathers that weren't. Then when you listen to the rap music, what are they saying? Fuck niggas, get money, blah blah blah. It's just shitting on black men all day.
Okay, so. Yeah, I gotta excuse me. I'm kind of getting my timestamp a little bit mixed up. But regarding this rap music, and it's just, and this quote of, it's just, you know, black men like bullshit and all that. Like, rap music is entertainment. Okay, like, black women have proven that they can be entertained while taking care of business by way of mothers and their degree attainment. Like, however, sure, some have failed at both, but at the same time, the same can be said about any like group of people. Like, we don't have to necessarily judge people based on like the imperfections of some of the like the bottom performing individuals. Like, come on.
And then the black men that are in their life, a lot of the times, not every single time, but a lot of the times they're criminals. They're fathers that weren't there. They're crooks, and it's just like a never-ending cycle where there's no real patriarch in the household. And then on top of that, you know, since women, a lot of black women grow up without men in the house, then they're becoming extremely masculine. Now, this is fantastic when it comes to survival, getting a job, making your way through life. But this is terrible when it comes to attracting masculine men.
Okay, I got something right there, dude. Okay. So I'm gonna echo my sentiments. I'm gonna echo my sentiments on red pill theory on masculinity. That aside, there are strong implications pointing out how wealthy men will more likely select wealthy women, For starters, wealthy men may not even rub elbows with lower status women, since, or rather, low status women, since they simply don't frequent the same leisurely locations. Like, culture is an important like topic here. Like how the wealthy operate and the day to day can go back generations. If the culture's class, so goes the longevity of a relationship. Opportunism is a concern for these wealthy men. Like often described as like opportunism in this context can often be described as gold diggers for women and bum or homosexuals for men. Um, it's like a tale as long almost as old as time. Like men have for a very long time have looked out, have had to hold on. How do I put this? Wealthy men for the longest had to look out for these like essential gold diggers or women that don't value the men as themselves, but rather what the man offers them or brings to the table. You know what I'm saying? Like, it reminds you, some women I would argue all women want some level of stability in their lives, and they want men that are rooted in that. That can provide a good level of stability for them, which is like I would say is commendable, which is respectable. But it is a concern for men of that stature to just simply look out for. To prioritize finding a woman that wants to make the relationship work despite the flaws of either individual. But with that aside, education is another thing that these men are starting to value more. Like there has been an uptick in wealthy men dating educated women of late, like likely due to more thought provoking conversations and emotional connections. So I don't know, people. I know a lot of people just don't really do enough considering of like alternate let's say I don't know. I don't think Myron and like these other red pill dudes just do enough talking to like rich or wealthy people, wealthy individuals to understand like there is a range to this stuff. It's not always like black and white when it comes to men's like I'm sorry, especially like wealthy men's dating strategies and stuff like that. Like it is starting to change. It's starting to shift a bit. And I think he needs to kind of update that. Albeit like there's still gonna be some that fit the narrative of like this trad thing. They want they themselves view themselves as masculine. So they will look for that. These men will look for like that polarity, that opposite polarity, so that they match and all that. Like those people do exist, but that to understand if the man or for the women that's listening right now, to understand if that man is that type of man that you are going after is going to require conversation, even if he's rich. Because again, there's there's going to be plenty of men that want that very trad lifestyle, but there's also going to be men that they want something alternative. You feel me? And that doesn't make them feminine or anything weird like that.
Masculine men don't want masculine women in return. That would make you probably more than likely gay if you're attracted to yourself, right?
What? Probably, bro. I don't even want to repeat that. Probably. Okay, what the fuck is the connection between lack of a father and a woman becoming masculine? Like what is the connection between lack of a father and a woman becoming masculine, becoming a masculine woman will like it, bro? Okay, let me just hold on a second. Okay. Like what the fuck is the connection between lack of a father and a woman becoming masculine. Like women will likely learn how to be a lady from studying her mom anyway. You know what I'm saying? So like without the father being there, like what is like how is that, how does he make that connection? Like he needs to like explain. He needs to explain that one. Like he needs to go into detail with that one. Regardless, a woman that knows how to navigate life and has a job is all of a sudden a masculine trait. Like, are you serious? Like Myron's argument has literally hit the wall. Shout out to Kevin Samuels, bro.
And I always use the analogy because whenever
That's your lane, Molly.
because here's the thing with black women, right? They'll sit there and they'll say, "Oh, you can't handle me," and I'll say, "Why the fuck should I?" Because let me tell you this: if you went up to a black woman, and you said, "Hey, look, I like to wear heels on Saturdays," she'll be like, "Ew, what the fuck?" She'd curve you, rightfully so. That's weird. But why is it that we're supposed to accept masculine black women when they would never accept feminine black men? They never would. So why the hell should I accept a woman that behaves like a man when she would never accept me for behaving like a woman? And this is the insane double standard where they'll sit there and say, you need to expect me the way that I accept me the way that I come, but women never accept us the way that we come. We have to self-improve. Why don't they have to self-improve?
Okay, bro. I'm like, check this out, bro. Like, I need to look. Check this out, bro. I'm gonna ignore all arguments he makes based on masculinity from here on out. Like red pill niggas, like they make no logical sense due to his foundational understanding of masculinity. Okay, like his understanding of masculinity is just off. So with him not having, with him not knowing the ABCs of masculinity and how it's like he says the ABCs backwards or something like that. But with him not understanding the ABCs of masculinity, there's just no way for him to like build any like actual cogent argument based on not even knowing like the roots, like the very basic understanding of like what it means to be masculine. But like, bro, like, I don't understand. Like, we all self-improve, Myron, men and women. Your problem is you're going in the wrong direction, and no one should want to be led by a delusional man. You feel me?
So when they say dumb shit like that, saying, "Oh, you can't handle a black woman," or "Why don't you date them?" What that really means is, why are you not dealing with the stereotypical, loud, obnoxious, crass, rude black woman? And I'm saying no, because I don't want to date myself.
This dude is so damn slow. It's crazy, bro. This dude is actually. Does he not? Does this idiot? Did this idiot just call himself loud, obnoxious, crass, and rude? But you cannot make this shit up, man.
So if I've dated a black woman before that are polite, feminine, not fat, respectful, speak proper English, you know, they say ask instead of acts, like all these things. And that's what I like. So if I'm going to be around that, great. I don't really care about skin color like that. I have a preference. It just so happens that a lot of the times black women don't adhere to these preferences because they're indoctrinated to have this mindset of, let me challenge a man, let me be rambunctious, let me go ahead and chase a career and basically be the man that I want to get. And I'm not with that.
And now he's just admitted he's been around black women that didn't fit the stereotypes. But race suddenly doesn't matter anymore. Bruh. You just can't win for losing.
What do you say?
Bro, like seriously. This is what y'all need. Look, check this out. I'm not even just talking about. I'm not even just talking to black men anymore in this situation. Like, bro, just stop listening to Myron, y'all. Just stop. Stop listening to Myron when it comes to anything, for that matter. Ask me and the other members of the Chicago Black Delegation podcast, okay? Ask us questions instead, all right? I'll catch you on the flip side, man. It's been Chicago. It's been hard thinking of the Chicago Black Delegation. This too got my brain mixed up. Okay. All right. That one was rough to get through. That was crazy. Let me see. Did my thing not even? Oh, hold on a sec. I think my. Oh no, my thumbnail ain't. Oh boy. Need my thumbnail. Okay. Yeah, dude. That was crazy. But yeah, that's my games for you, bro. Nothing new here. Nothing new on this time. But now I want to get into Candace Owens. Candace Owens has apparently bit the hand that fed her, and I'm wondering what's next for her. So, little quick things about Candace Owens before I get into the discussion here. Candace, we all know. I think we all kind of know Candace would start off like as this liberal person. At least she self-proclaimed this like that. She self-proclaimed liberal personality, and then turned staunch, let's say extreme Republican conservative. Had her family with with the guy that owns I forgot the name of that streaming service. Who cares? Or a social media site. Who cares? And then now she has some run-ins with what's that man name? Ben Shapiro, and she got fired from Daily Wire, and now she's doing her own podcast thing. Don't know how much money she's making. She has some significant viewership. So I give her some credit for that. But like, bro, are you sure you wanna go in this direction? Like, are you sure you're ready for the consequences that's gonna come from this? I don't know. Like what she's gonna be learning, I think what she's gonna be learning the hard way is just how flip floppy the conservative base is. And I think she's in for quite the rude awakening. But without further ado, let's get into the video. Let's get into the conversation. So, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Chicago Black Delegation Podcast. Yeah. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Chicago Black Delegation Podcast. I'm your host, HT, aka High Thing, and you're watching The Corner Show, where I kind of watch these different little videos with me, myself, and that you guys may send to me, or just maybe some videos I kind of run across on my own. And today's episode, we're going to be talking about Candace Owens essentially biting the hand that fed her. She's turned cold against Donald Trump, of all people. And she has been known to be a very, very strong defender of Donald Trump. And she spent the majority of the election attacking Kamala Harris's lineage. Trying to pretty much calling her out for being a liar and stuff like that, and I don't know. I don't know I ain't really do too much of watching her during that time period. You can check that little campaign out for yourself. But yeah, she's not liking what she's seeing from the Trump administration. So let's check it out, shall we? This content is brought to us by Brute. So shout out to them.
I never thought that I would see a day where I would be rooting for a university above Donald J. Trump and his administration. But I don't recognize his administration right now. I don't recognize what's happening. I have a theory. I do. We were kicking around some theories earlier, me and the team, and we were going, how could Trump be such a free speech enthusiast and allowing these things to happen? Going after college universities, trying to suppress speech, while pretending that you're not suppressing speech, while pretending that you're fighting DEI. It's so messy. It's so obvious. Everyone knows what you're doing.
Okay, I gotta stop you right there, Candace. Gotta stop right there, Candace. Candace, I hate it's so unfortunate because I don't know if you're being authentic right, and I really don't. Okay, but in the event that you are being like serious and you truly mean everything that you're saying right now, yes, there's going to be a whole lot of hypocrisy coming from the conservative party. Okay, there's a whole lot of that, man, that's been going on. I mean, some will say that the Democratic Party is the same, sure, or whatever you want to say. But check this out. It is extremely apparent within the Democratic Party. I mean, I'm sorry, within the Republican Party. People have flat out stated, or farmers have flat out stated that they've lost hundreds of thousands of dollars per year because Trump is now in office, because of the decisions Donald Trump has made, and they still gonna vote for that dude. It's like they're intentionally crashing out, you know. And in terms of like this free speech thing, yes, there's gonna be another one of those hypocrisy moments. Okay, they break it to you. Again, that's if you're being authentic here.
People who are still trying to grift, I suppose, are not willing to challenge you on this, which is ridiculous, because when you are out of office, we are going to have to live with these consequences. Our children are going to have to grow up in this America. Okay.
Boy, do I agree with that. Boy, do I agree with, yes, our children now is going to deal with that. You're absolutely right, Candace.
So when you threaten our speech, it's not worth it so that we can have pom-poms and go hurrah for a couple of years, then go, okay, well.
Couple of years, bro. It's all, bro. The first 100 days has been a complete travesty. Like the dude's approval rating is the lowest any president has had in their first 100 days in the past 80 years. Like imagine, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, now it kind of stinks because, we're getting arrested for wrongthink. We got David Friedman. Yeah, arrest him. Arrest Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens. Get them. I love it. Everyone can see what's happening left and right. Harvard.
That's the thing. They see what's happening left and right of the political aisle, if that's what you're implying here. And the right don't care. The right wants to, like, they want so hard. They want so bad to pretend they made the right decision, you know? And it's completely and utterly pathetic.
Harvard received notice that they had to comply with the Trump administration's demands, okay, and essentially telling them how they would have to change things on campus. And they're, again, the administration is trying to paint this as they're coming and fighting DEI on campus, and they're not doing that. I'm going to show you it so you can see it with your own eyes. On Monday, Harvard became the first university to openly defy the Trump administration as it demanded sweeping changes to limit activism on campus. Activism is like synonymous with campus, okay? The university frames the government's demands as a threat not only to the Ivy League school, but to the autonomy that the Supreme Court has long granted American universities.
We're going to go into a little bit later, about the context of what she's speaking on. But yes, it's very much so to do with activism that's happening on these in Harvard, but it's also other schools as well. That Trump is essentially going to be pulling funding from schools that have pro Gaza sentimentships, okay, Palestinian sentiments, okay. And what else is there to say there? She believes that those individuals, those students, have every right to process what's going on over there. And don't know what else to say there. Really don't. It's surprising. It's surprising seeing her going this far in the defense of this type of thing. I mean, and, you know, we saw something very similar, because this immediately draws me to what I saw ADL kind of go through with the not the basketball player manager, but the Carmelo Anthony situation. Hold on a second. Yeah, regarding the Carmelo Anthony situation, ADL said this is self defense. He read the comment section and he flipped up. He switched it. He switched that. He switched that shit up really quick. Got the defending. Got the apologizing on the behalf of Black Americans and stuff like that. Candace Owens could do it. She could do the same thing. She has plenty of time to really. I think they'll come back. I think they'll be cool. But if she really wants to go the way of Amazing Lucas and just completely flip, good luck. There is a price to pay when you start applying common sense to your political takes. It's just, I mean, he lost a whole lot of viewers, a whole lot of subscribers because he just decided to like, you know what, I'm done grifting. Well, I ain't gonna. I'll be nice to Lucas. Maybe he wasn't grifting. Maybe he truly believed everything that he said. Like this, let's throw it out there. There's a likelihood that he did truly believe all that stuff. I'm just saying that if she wants to turn over a new leaf and stop grifting, well, there is a price to pay for that. Hate to break it to you. That's why my channel is never gonna get any real traction because I'm a little bit too honest when it comes to politics.
They said in a quote, the university will not surrender its independence or relinquish its constitutional rights. That's what the university lawyers said on Monday. They continued, neither Harvard nor any other private university can allow itself to be taken over by the federal government. The federal government says it's freezing more than $2.2 billion in grants and $60 million in contracts to Harvard unless, essentially, we are going to hold your funding unless you comply with these demands. And I'm going to show you, because Harvard has released it, what they're asking them to do. First, I should tell you they've already complied with adopting the IRHA definition of anti-Semitism, which is ridiculous. But so how you have to read this is everywhere, and Skylar, if you don't mind making that a little bigger for me, everywhere that you see the word anti-Semitism, you have to ask yourself what the definition, the new definition of anti-Semitism is, because now we're at critique of Israel, the foreign state, essentially. So,
Yep. Can't you gotta be nice. You can't call people out for being Zionists. You can't do any of those things, bro. You gotta just let them cook. That's what this stuff means now. So for anybody out there trying to make content, again, remember if you're not letting Israel cook, and I don't mean that figuratively anyway, just relax. But yeah, if you, yeah, you gotta let them cook now, y'all. No, not much else to say about that.
As they frame it down there as the discontinuation of DEI, which would be a good thing, saying that we want people to be merit-based and to let go of DEI-based policies, that would be a great thing because that is how the nation should run. They are actually asking them to reform programs that have egregious records of anti-Semitism or other biases, telling them to look at specific programs. Scroll down, Skylar, because I want to get to them essentially just framing this as them needing to take a look at who.
I was gonna let her get away with it, but I'm not. Yeah, check this out, bro. Y'all need to understand, like, the DEI thing is, like, look, it is enforcing merit based. Okay. Check this out. There's with all of this fuss regarding stopping like these DEI students from accessing like getting participating in places where they don't belong, if you want to call it that. They don't want to. Nobody is raising any sort of question based on what is that called, the lineage, the lineage. I forgot what it's called, but like let me look it up real quick. I gotta come back to it. Lineage admissions, I believe it's called. Lineage admissions, where basically if somebody in the school, if a teacher or faculty member works at a school, they essentially get like it essentially is like leverage to help their child get access to that school. It's essentially networking. It's essentially like using network to get access to that school. Whereas like that type of thing is very much so rooted in systemic oppression, which a lot of people may not want to like acknowledge or don't understand how it works. But it's relatively simple. Black people in this nation, American freedmen especially, have been systemically displaced, and how do I put this? American freedmen essentially have been oppressed to the point where they weren't allowed education, right? And if we want to like acknowledge that finally, we have to also acknowledge the fact that our ancestors, our black ancestors, didn't have like the same opportunities within the same time frame as these other ethnicities of people to have access to these schools, to be educated and eventually work for those work amongst the faculty in these prestigious schools. It's like I don't know, like people just I don't know. I guess people just when they don't think about this stuff enough, they just can't seem to make these connections to understand why like DEI is like necessary. Like if white folks is gonna be able to get access to like these prestigious positions by way of not having to deal with anti-black systems and stuff like that, then yes, black people, systems like DEI and affirmative action is necessary to essentially bridge that opportunity gap, to bridge that gap. You feel me? So like when you understand something like that, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know why like Candace Owens can't seem to like because she herself, like she is freedman. You know what I mean? She's half Caribbean, sure, but she's also is freedman. And I don't know if it's the parents that didn't, educate her properly, or the propaganda that was fed to her. I don't know what it is, but she should have an understanding of this. But I don't know. I guess it just is what it is at this point. But yeah, so when people try to say it's like merit based, like again, the DEI is making sure it's merit based because it's giving the Black Americans, the freedmen, and other displaced groups and other underprivileged groups the same or similar access to these institutions as the privileged groups. Okay, the groups that have a history of opportunity in this country. Okay.
Who they're even allowing to come to Harvard on foreign visas, and whether or not they disagree with Israel's policies. Like you have to adopt new policies about student groups or clubs that forbid or endorse certain activities. They're talking about student groups that did not get violent, but are opposed to Israel's agenda, which is totally fair because this country is not Israel. It's not Israel. You are totally allowed to critique Israel. I mean, it's an absolute nonsense. It's telling them that these people need to be suspended, that they can't be allowed on campus. Again, making us think that Bibi Netanyahu must be the president of the United States, and Trump has no idea what's going on.
That's crazy. Oh boy, they are. Oh man, she actually had the cojones to say that. Wow. Whoa. She said Netanyahu is the president of the United States of America. That is a lie. And that is like that's as base as that little kid that told Trump. That's almost as base as that little kid that told Trump that he's not the president that Elon Musk is.
Here's a clue. If you want people who are feeling threatened on campus because of the response that people are having to feeling like they're rights are being infringed upon, maybe don't infringe upon their rights to speech. This is not making it easier for their students on campus, I'm telling you, because this is making it seem like they get special consideration because these rules were not put into place to defend white people when BLM was going on, okay? These rules had never been put in place to defend anybody else.
Damn. Does she almost kind of defend BLM a little bit? After she came out with that big old after she came out with that hit piece of a documentary.
Talking about speech censorship. But on its face, it is speech censorship. Speech that you don't like or speech that makes you uncomfortable is not violent. You are not being hurt by speech or being challenged by ideas, okay? We got to get over snowflake culture.
Snowflake culture. She attributed snowflake culture to the conservatives. Oh my goodness, Candace, this is some base shit right here, cuz. This is a base take. Relax. Jeez.
Ridiculous. I mean, we know there are people that are more loyal to the state of, you know, want to know how we know? Because this is even being written down. Because this is even being considered as a definition, a working definition of anti-Semitism. Whoever created this working definition is more loyal to the state of Israel than they are to America. Because in America, we believe in free speech. How about that?
Damn.
That.
Sheesh. Candace always in the house. Wow, that was okay. Yeah, she I don't know where she stands anymore. She's obviously not a Democrat. I don't know. Maybe she's gonna be like a libertarian or something like that. Like the libertarians like to pretend they're not Republicans for whatever reason. Okay. Yeah. Candace. Yeah. So she's gonna lose like half her viewer base. She's gonna have like a quarter of her subscribers left, and this is gonna be the ones that's like they have a thing for black chicks. Okay. Which is cool. But yeah. Wow. I'm almost speechless. Candace Owens, ladies and gentlemen. I'll catch you on the flip side. It's been Higher Thinking of Chicago Black Delegation podcast. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Oh crap! I forgot to add this part. Let me just go ahead and add this in real quick. Okay. So here's what she was referencing. This here, Trump says he's yanking Harvard's tax exempt status. This is where it's predicated from. Okay, this is the what's happening here. The Trump administration launched a review of roughly $9 billion in federal grants and contracts with the university over treatment of Jewish students that it says violated Title VI of the Civil Rights Act, including during protests of the Israel-Hamas war that roiled campuses across the country last year. The administration has already rescinded more than $2 billion in federal funding from the school and is weighing whether to pull another $1 billion in grants. Harvard is suing the administration to challenge the decision to cut off money from the institution. The university said the far-reaching demands of Trump the university said the far-reaching demands of Trump's anti-Semitism task force, which includes changes to the university's hiring, admissions, discipline, and programming for reinstating the cash were unreasonable. So yeah. They like I said, as Ken has already kind of pointed out, they the new idea of what anti-Semitism means that Harvard and other schools have to comply, and they have to essentially hold the students accountable for, as Candace put it, critiquing Israel's involvement in the Israel-Hamas conflict. Okay, so it just kind of is what it is. Don't know where it's gonna come, where it's gonna go, but let's continue. With I'm sorry, but man, this is how things are kind of going. This is how things are essentially progressing at this point, and what's gonna happen next is anybody's guess. Hopefully, Harvard wins this, and they can keep their funding, they can keep their grants, because like there's a lot of things that kind of rattle into that money. You know what I mean? Those grants are necessary for Harvard's funding, and it's also it's very much so is likely integral towards the sustainability of Harvard. So I don't know. I think Trump needs to put that in consideration while considering pulling the funding from Harvard. Hopefully, they are doing that already. So. Anyway, we're gonna move into our last topic here. We have a little bit of a ace metaphor here. Let's see what he has to say regarding love. Let me go and refresh.
Heterosexual men.
Okay, I need a refresh. Let me see. I'm probably gonna have to. I know what I'm gonna do. Okay. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Chicago Black Delegation. I hate when I do that. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Chicago Black Delegation Podcast. I'm your host, HT, aka Higher Thinking, and this is the corner show where I just review videos that I come across on the internet that I myself have found or people have sent to me, and here we have. Content from our good friend Ace Metaphor from I believe this is the Neighborhood Talk podcast. Probably some pretty dope conversations they have here, and I think you all should check them out. But they have a clip that we're gonna go ahead and review. So without further ado,
A lot of heterosexual men don't like women for real.
ooh,
They don't.
ooh.
They like women sexually, but they don't like women. They're not attracted to what a woman is outside of her sexual organs.
Uh-oh. I've definitely heard this one before. I heard this one a number of times, actually. From a number of different women. Never from a guy. Dudes don't talk about this stuff. But yes, I have definitely heard this type of stuff from women. Definitely have. Let's see what Ace has to say about this first before I kind of comment on or before I kind of reiterate what I've heard from other women say about this.
So then when we get into why a lot of men womanize, or why it's just they're minimizing a woman based off of who she slept with or who she potentially can sleep for, because it's like you haven't gained the appreciation of the wholeness of a woman yet, and what that wholeness of a woman can bring to your life. A lot of times we'll talk about strength and we'll say men are stronger than women, but that's because we value physical strength.
Yeah.
We're not talking about emotional strength, spiritual strength. Yeah. We're not talking about the type of strength that can run a household. And we're not putting that same type of weight. And what I would encourage, and this was the shift that I had to do, is I had to start liking the wholeness of a woman outside of sex. And then when you do that, now you appreciate the things a complete woman can bring to your life. When we talk about the Bible talks about finding a capable wife, right? That capable wife, that person that if you was to stumble, can pick up the ball and start running. And there's a lot of men that have just a wife because they was only concerned about what she can do in the bed. Yeah. And so what I'm just encouraging men to do is just like, and it's for our own benefit, because a lot of us, especially men with some type of means, we end up finding a dependent, not a partner. Yeah, she can fuck us good, but if you was able to stumble, bro, what the fuck is gonna happen with your family? And so I just encourage men to be, I'm not gonna say more, because that's unrealistic to a lot of men, but as attracted to what she brings as a feminine energy to your life outside of just what you're doing in between.
Check this out. So to that point.
Okay, that's pretty much the end of it. So yeah. Oh boy. Newsflash. He's absolutely completely correct. He more or less said a lot of the same things I've heard other women say regarding men's inability to actually like women. That yes, men are just more so attracted to, more so drawn to what they themselves like about the woman. But outside of like that service level understanding of that woman, it's they don't like them. You know, it's like it can be the way the women like think, perceive like the world around her, her interests, her mannerisms, like so on and so forth. Like, yeah, guys, a lot of guys are simply just they're married to their wives, but they don't like them. And it confused me at first, you know. It confused me at first. I didn't because I didn't necessarily get it. But it did kind of, for the most part, attribute to things that, like, I did think about this stuff just from a completely different like perspective, and I had it already figured out, and I had to just, I guess, I had to think enough about it, have enough conversation to finally like draw a connection between the conversations I had with my male friends and the conversations I had with these ladies and stuff like that, and or the the conversation from this perspective. So essentially, what me and my homeboys, I'm sorry, the conclusion I drew upon amongst having a conversation with my homeboys was, men have to start, it's going to sound crazy, but start dating like women. That's what, I know that sounds crazy. I'm not necessarily saying we need to be hypergamous, okay? Not necessarily saying that, but we need to be looking at our prospects, our female, our female prospects, quite differently. And what I mean is this: the way men have been dating for the most part, we just go off. We've been going off what we like, right? We look at a woman and we decide right then and there, is she attractive enough for me to want to spend the rest of my life with her, right? And we don't account for too much of anything else. We just don't. I know I made that mistake. I made that mistake in my late 20s. Right, I saw a girl that I liked. We had some common interests about some stuff that didn't matter that much, and it ended up being almost a waste of time. I learned a lot from that experience. I wouldn't necessarily do anything different, but I will say I learned a lot, and I think that education is valuable. But that aside, had I looked at other things outside of her attractiveness and took that into account as far as, is this person my wife? How do I put this? Then I likely would have made a different decision throughout that experience. I would have made different decisions throughout that experience. You know what I mean? Not to say I wouldn't have been with her at all, but I probably would have saved a little bit of time. You know what I mean? Or at the very least, asked different types of questions, or maybe even made some sort of effort at bringing us closer together, cognitively, or worldview wise. You know what I mean? But the thing is, I started asking the right questions a little bit too late. You know what I mean? But with that aside, what Ace Metaphor here is helping men realize is we need to be looking outside of like the main things that we normally look for in women, right? Now he mentions like, sexual things, right? That's all he kind of mentions, but I would also extend that to traditional feminine roles. You know what I'm saying? If the only thing you're looking for in a woman is the femininity thing, this is definitely a hot take, but that can essentially, how could I put this? It can kind of limit your growth as an individual, as not just an individual, but it can limit your growth, and not just you as an individual, but your community, your your family, your extended family, like so on and so forth. And this is what I mean by this. Okay. Because I know like some people are like, well, it sounds like you want to make women into men. You want men to look for manly traits in women and stuff like that. Like that's why I have such a huge gripe with like this concept of masculinity and femininity and stuff like that. Like look, I get it. A lot of people want to attribute like actions. They want to put a gender on like actions that people take and stuff like that. And I get it and stuff like that. But like, check this out. If you can think outside of that box for like a moment and gear your aspirations, your goals into different aspects in different things, you will be surprised as to what you can achieve as with a partner. You know what I mean? With your wife. You feel me? So check this out. I understand the traditional aspect, the traditional way of doing things is a man makes all the money and pays all the bills, and the woman is the supporting role, and she helps the man by doing all of the, the household chores so that the man can come home and either relax or make more money. You know what I'm saying? And then, cook and all of these things. However, if a man, let's say, looked for a woman that made money as well, right? Which is, I guess, apparently in 2025 is apparently a masculine trait, finding a woman that makes money. You know what I mean? If you two can find common ground amongst your sea of opinions and sentiments and worldview and like all of these things, all of the things that make you two as individuals, if you two can meet and create compromises and make peace with all your differences and celebrate and let's go with that and celebrate the things where you find a meeting of the minds or agreement in. When you two combine your incomes together, that can create very important things necessary for the success of communities, for families. I mean, if you don't even want to do those things, like, yes, you can just go on vacations of your wildest imaginations. Like you two can live like live out whatever fantasies you have. Both, like, instead of like you being like one individual is making $90,000, $100,000, you paying all the bills, but you also find a woman that is equally as ambitious with life, which there's plenty of them nowadays. Just watch the Pop the Balloon show. That everybody's an entrepreneur on that show. Okay, when you as a man value what she brings to the table outside of the feminine qualities, yes, you can have, I don't like, whatever you planned, whatever goals you had in life will be met and then some. Because, like, I don't know how else to really put this. If you're a single individual, if you're a single man and you're not a slob and you are self-sustainable, like, whereas you can cook for yourself, you've been eating every day, you do take out. Yeah, bro, you can. Some days you can cook. Some days you can clean. Some days you can like do like nurture the child. Like that's your kid too, right? Why do these qualities? Why do these traits have to be relegated to like women or females? You know what I mean? When men males, what do you want to call it? Please excuse my French. I know why everybody has a problem with like the female name, but if you are self-sustainable and you meet somebody else that's self-sustainable, that wealth that woman can bring into your life is bonus. And the things that you two as a couple, as a team can put that towards, can be something like, can be groundbreaking, can be something that, I mean, I'm just like fuck the vacations. You know what I'm saying? It could be something that you can invest in your own community, where you can start employing like the teens around the community and stuff like that, and create and add to like the revenue of the town that you live in, and assist towards keeping the property taxes down. Like us, all type of stuff that you can do with that additional income. It just requires you two to like love each other. You know, and I get it. Like I get it. Like the world can definitely turn anybody better, you know. But like if you two, instead of like expecting her to be your piece when you get home from a hard days of work, why don't like you very much so can also be her piece as well, you know. And that's what a lot of these hardworking women, it's like that's all they want too, you know. Like look. 2025 is a very different time than 1950. Okay. Like this traditional gender role thing, like it was cool during the time period where the economy was built around. When the economy was built around the traditional nuclear family, that method was just fine. It worked great for that time period. However, nowadays, with the average income level of men being about 50K, it takes two heads to run a household nowadays. Like that's just what it is. And to expect women to, you know what I mean, and expecting women to not only work the hours that you work, but also come home and cook and clean and all that stuff too, is just completely crazy. It just truly is. So what Ace Metaphor is just suggesting here is when men look outside the qualities of just sex, as far as the value of women, and learn how to appreciate her everything that she offers, everything she brings to the table as far as relationships. He will find more reasons to find to appreciate that woman. And marriage, I'm pretty sure a lot of dudes. I'm pretty sure there's a big population of men that's well past this problem. You know, don't get me wrong, but I get it. You know what I'm saying? I completely get it. So like, and when men, like I said, learn that there's more to women outside of the service level, I think we will. I'm sorry. And when men learn how to appreciate like what makes that a woman an individual outside of you know, how different she looks than other women, that's when we have longer, more meaningful relationships. And I think that lack of empathy, that lack of like perspective, and all these other things, it attributes towards people's inability to. I mean, not inability, but it attributes to like the overall divorce rate. And I know a lot of guys have a problem with the no fault divorce and stuff like that. Like, look, I think a lot of that not all of it. Don't make like mind you, not all of it, but I think a lot of it can be absolved from looking beyond the service level when it comes to relationships, and understanding that this person is compatible with me outside of the service level. So overall, I definitely agree with everything Ace Metaphor has to say here. I know a lot of people give him a lot of flack for being a quote unquote simp and all this other stuff. Like whatever, dude, I get it. But no, dude, like he's absolutely right here. Not to say that men need to be hard perkins or anything like that, but we definitely should be looking. We definitely should be considering the potential that a woman can bring wealth wise into our lives, and that's not to say that women that don't make as much money as us are valueless or anything like that. I'm definitely not saying that, because like there's obviously other things that a woman can bring outside of tangible income, or tangible resources and stuff like that. But what I will say is let's kind of move away from not assuming, but like pretending that a woman's like accomplishments are essentially valueless, and because that simply doesn't make any damn sense. Like with her education background and her and those achievements likely will come tangible dividends that you both can use towards establishing a more robust and fruitful future for the both of y'all. There's something to consider, y'all. It's been in Chicago Black Nation Podcast. I'll catch you on the flip side. Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna all right, that's gonna be it for me, y'all. I appreciate y'all. Actually, no, I'm not gonna go anywhere. I'm gonna take me like a quick 15-minute break, and then I'm gonna get to these executive orders. I'm gonna end the stream and then start a new one, just so everybody kind of know what's kind of happening here and stuff like that. So okay. Yeah. So yeah, I'm giving myself a 15-minute break, and I'll be back shortly with some executive order readings. Hold on. Well, I did not. This dude, I did not. Oh, hold on a second. If you want a man to like you for more than just your bodies, then you have to be likable. It's that simple. Men are consistent with the women who are actually. Oh yeah, I guess nigga. Mr. Lucaro, I remember that. He actually, he's a Red Pill content creator. All right. Anyway, yeah, I'll be right back, y'all.